What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Brandon Coin YouTube channel. If you're new here, I'm glad to have you. By the way, there are scammers, spammers, and bots down below in the comment section. I'm not going to contact you. I don't want your money, and I don't have a WhatsApp, so don't contact me on WhatsApp. Anyway, rolling on forward. Today's video is a little change of pace, just to warn you. This is a talking head video, so I figured a good topic for me to talk about tonight. By the way, it is February 13th, 2022, and happy early Valentine's Day to everybody tomorrow. But tonight's topic is the number one mistake that I see in GPU mining, and this can kind of cross over into mining in general, whether you do a little bit of ASIC mining or anything else. So, the number one mistake that I see in mining, in the space, and in the community is people want to jump in too far, too fast, too soon. Nobody wants to like take the steps and learn and earn and build up. I see guys, and what I mean by that is like I started off with a 6 card rig back in 2017, back when I was buying cards for $300 a piece. So like my initial investment was around like 1,500 bucks, give or take. I think I bought like 3 cards first, and then I bought the other 3 cards a little bit later. I might have had 2 grand into it all in with like motherboard, CPU, everything. Now, and before we get too far, don't spend money that you're not afraid to lose, or not at least afraid to take a loss on. You can always sell this stuff. You just might not be able to sell it for what you bought it for. This stuff does fluctuate in value. I'm talking about the hardware, just like the coins fluctuate in value. They're not always up. It may seem like they're always going to be up, and it may seem like we're never going to be able to get graphics cards, but it will flip flop. It will. I don't know if it'll be, a week from now or, 5 years from now, but it will flip flop eventually. So, going back to the original topic at hand, number one mistake: too big, too fast, too soon. And a lot of people are like, well, if I buy more cards, I can make more crypto. And yes, that's true. But I like to get people into crypto and have them stagger into it. And what I mean by that is start out with a system you're comfortable getting up and running yourself. There's nothing worse than buying a ton of graphics cards and you don't have the skills and experience to get them all running. Because if graphics cards are just sitting, or if ASICs are sitting, miners in general are just sitting at your house, they're not making you money. You're losing money. You spent money and your investment is sitting there. It's kind of like paying an employee just to do nothing. He's just sitting there freeloading, and nobody likes a freeloader. So start out, get you a basic rig up and going, and then once you feel comfortable expanding over time, you can take what I did is back in 2017. I started with one rig, filled that bad boy up. Then I started working on my second rig. And at that time, I was using a combination of the money I was making off of crypto, which at the time it was, pumping late 2017. So I was making good money on that rig. And I was also using some of my personal funds together to then fill out that second rig. So it made that second rig like it was snowballing. And I say this all the time, but mining does snowball. You don't want to get into mining and like buy a rig and then all the money that it's producing just spend it on anything else. A lot of times I tell people, and they get into it and thinking like, oh, if I get a giga hash, that could pay my car payment every month. And I'm like, yeah, it could, but you don't. It's like you make an investment and you want to compound your investment to a point where it's making a ridiculous amount and your car payment is just a fraction of what's coming in. Um, I really haven't pulled much money out of my crypto account. And what I mean by that is, yes, I sell crypto and I buy more hardware. So I consider that staying into the crypto side of things. I pulled money out, I built this garage, but that's still with my crypto based stuff because I needed a place for extra power. I needed extra square footage. So I'm taking the money I'm making off crypto and reinvesting it back into crypto one way or another. I'm not using it to buy McDonald's and daggone tennis shoes and stuff like that. Because if you're doing that, then you're not growing. And if you're not using your money to grow, then you're never going to make more money or more crypto. I got to be careful about how I talk about that, because at times we make less money, but we make more crypto, and that that's the whole fluctuation in the market kind of thing, which makes it interesting. So, yeah, number one mistake: too big, too fast, too soon. Uh, don't go and buy a bunch of stuff on credit if and I mean, if you want to, that's great. I mean, I've definitely bought stuff on credit before. I have a Best Buy credit card. I wear that thing out whenever Best Buy was doing GPU drops, not to the, or to the public, and not to like the little private thing behind the scenes. I was snapping up maybe one or two cards a month, easy, just off of Best Buy, and that was just through a credit card. And then I would just pay the credit card off, no big deal. What scares me is when I say like, okay, yeah, it's fine to buy cards on or graphics cards on credit, is I'll hear about these people that'll go out and take like a HELOC or a home equity a line of credit against their house that they have a mortgage on, and dump 30, 40, $50,000 in graphics cards. And the only thing I can think of is like, yeah, man, that's awesome. You're gonna stand up a huge farm and it's gonna have a lot of money. But the only thing is if the market turns, your $50,000 farm might only be worth, $20 to $25,000 in hardware. And when I talk about the market turning, I'm not talking about going down 10, 20, 30%. I'm talking about like when it fell off last time. We went from what, 19,000 down to 3,000, like huge, huge fall. People are talking about it's a scam, all that kind of stuff. And we're not immune to that. A lot of people think, oh, there big money's in crypto. It'll never go down like that. Ladies and gentlemen, we just went from 60K down to 40K like it was nothing. You know, think about that. That was huge. And that's just on Bitcoin, not even talking about other coins. So it can happen. It absolutely can happen. Just don't overextend yourself. And that, I guess that pays back to the fact that don't spend money you're not afraid to lose. Don't stick your neck out there and potentially open it up to being chopped off. Now, that may lead you to growing slower, but when you grow slower, you can grow smarter. You can hunt for the deals because you don't have to buy everything right then and there. So you can find good deals. Whenever anything comes in, you're waiting on it to come in. So as soon as it gets here, you're slapping it together. And I've even done this at times where, say, if you buy a bunch of stuff at one time, when it comes in, it's like slightly overwhelming, especially if you have like a normal day job and a family and you're trying to like juggle all that at one time. You get 5, 6, 7, 10 cards in, and it's like, okay, we're gonna have a late night tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because we got to get these bad boys up and running. Whereas if you get one card a week, or say even one card a month, when that card gets there, that bad boy is plugged in and running before you know it, because you're ready for it. You're not getting caught off guard by like, oh, do I have enough cables? Oh, do I have enough slots? Oh, is there enough power overhead on this circuit? All that stuff's kind of already thought through because you're growing slow and you're growing smart. Now, all this advice and all this kind of stuff that I'm talking to you about, I'm talking to like the average Joes. Obviously, there's people out there with so much expendable money I can't even fathom it, and they could go stand up $100,000 farm tomorrow, and it wouldn't even affect them. They wouldn't even have to mine on it, and it would still be fine. I'm not referring to you guys. Yeah, it's awesome that you can do that. I'm trying to like look back, and if I was to give myself advice back in 2017, when at the time I was, what's that? That's been 4 years ago, 5 years ago now. Is that 5 years? 3, 4, 5? Yeah. So 5 years ago, I was not working for myself. I was working with a construction company. I had a Monday through Saturday job, and I wanted to get into making a little bit of passive income. So if I was to talk to myself from back then, I would basically, the only thing I would have changed differently about what I've done is there was a period of time where the market went down and I started selling off my cards and selling off my cards over and over again. I should have rode that out. Now that I know that, I'm not going to let that happen again. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the fat on some of my cards that are really, really power hungry. I'm going to stay efficient, stay current, or within current, maybe one generation back, and just keep rolling forward. So if I would have crypto's been very good to me, ladies and gentlemen. I figure I'll do a video in the future, and I want to break everything down and just show what it's like, because I did a video in the past where, I talked about like crypto had changed my life, and it really has. I used to live paycheck to paycheck. I lived in a. I'm not saying like, oh my God, I'm a millionaire now. Not at all. It's that's not the case. But I'm flexible. It gave me enough of a boost in passive income where I could go and take some other risks in life, and I had something to fall back on because I stacked up some coin. I had crypto coming in. It was a good setup. And anybody that says like, oh, crypto is a waste of time, they're looking at it the wrong way. Because crypto is one of these things that we're gonna look back at this. We're gonna look back at these years of GPU mining, CPU mining, heck, even ASIC mining, because eventually this is all gonna get taken over by these, big players, and the little guys aren't gonna be able to keep up. And it's kind of sad to see that, but that's just gonna happen. I mean, I feel like it's already starting to happen on the GPU side of things, which I thought that it wouldn't be possible, but I mean, the GPU prices have just gone insane, where the barrier of entry is so much higher than it was 5 years ago from when I got started. When I got started, you could go on Amazon.com, because that's where I bought my first cards. You know what? Actually, I would love to see if I could pull that up right now on this recording. I bought my first cards on Amazon.com, and I was upset because I couldn't find them on sale. I paid at the time full price, and I always hated paying full price. I always loved getting at least $5-10 off. I would hunt and try to find a deal, but I couldn't find a deal, and I was just like, well, I might as well pull the trigger on them. That was before the big shortage in late 2017. Let's see here if I can find it. So 2017 1060. I'll flip my screen over here in a second once I find my order. Order details. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna screenshot this so that way I can mark out some of the stuff I don't necessarily want you guys to know, which that's okay. Let's see here. Bear with me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Marking it out real quick. Okay, so my first 3 cards, yeah, I did buy an order of 3 as my first ones. So, and this is what this is what I'm going to talk about, like barrier of entry here. So, where are we at? Let's minimize that. Let's flip our screen over. There we go. All right, so my first 3 cards were 3 Zotac 1066 gigabyte cards. The total I paid after tax was $832.62. If we break that down, $832.62 divided by 3, I paid $277.54 after tax per card. And at the time, I felt like I wasn't getting a good deal. This was in 2017. 20 series hadn't even launched yet. 10 series was the current generation. I was buying the current generation 60 series, which was a lower mid-level card, because like 1070 was like the mid-level, 1080 was like upper mid, and then 1080 Ti was like the King Mac Daddy on the gaming side of things. Not talking about like Titan or mining, but 1060s and 1070s were, that's where like cream of the crop for mining was, especially if you didn't have enough money to jump into the bigger cards initially. So nowadays, you want to go get a mid-tier or even lower mid-tier card, you're spending easily over double that, and that's if you're lucky enough to get one at MSRP. The scalpers have gotten ridiculous and have drove up costs. Like a 3060 nowadays is a $500 plus card, which blows my mind. And then the fact that Nvidia has the whole LHR thing, I don't even want to talk about that. Yeah. You see where I'm getting at here, but there's lots of opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to leave you guys behind. And I used to get a lot of flack for it when I first started my YouTube channel. And I started my YouTube channel to show what I was doing and how I was doing it. I made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I still make mistakes today. No, I'm not perfect, and I don't try to come off like I am. The only thing is I can show you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work for you, then I understand. 9 times out of 10, there's probably always a better way to do it. Kind of like in the car world, there's always a car that's faster than you. There's always going to be somebody that can do it better than you, and that's okay. But if I can help somebody along the way, then that's all that mattered. And back then, when I first started, there weren't a lot of YouTube channels that were showing behind the scenes. You didn't find guys that were showing what they were making on what card and how much their farm was and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of like real secretive and stuff, which at the time I didn't care. If anything, I just wanted to share the information and have a good time. So yeah, that's basically that wraps up this video. It's sorry if I got a little rambly. I love being able to try to share a little bit of my experience, and obviously it doesn't go as far back as some people that I've known. I've been lucky to meet some people that have been in the mining scene for what's coming on now 7-8 years, plus some of the real OGs. But I just see a lot of people coming onto the scene right now and making what I would consider the biggest mistake you can. They're buying a bunch of graphics cards on credit, and they're buying them essentially at the top. They're not trying to hunt any good deals. They're buying them from scalpers, and they're really setting themselves up for potentially issues, a lot of issues. So, yeah, just be safe, be smart, guys. And as always, keep on mining. May your hashes be high and your watts be low and all that kind of stuff. I forgot how the saying went, but yeah. Peace out. I hope y'all had a good night. I watched the Super Bowl. I was rooting for the Bengals. They didn't win. Oh, Joe Burr. Man, he was looking a little tough there at the end. He wasn't feeling it, but it is what it is. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you on the next one. Dang, this ended up being 17 minutes. Sorry about that. If you made it all the way to the end, old Jellyfishers, drop it down below in the comments. I'll give you a good old like. I appreciate it, guys. Peace.